Paul, our weekly check-up about a certain two players, Billy Sharp and Chris Basham, how they doing? Are they back for the Easter weekend?
Bash has trained today, so yeah, we're really pleased where he is. Really pleased where he is, and we'll take it from there, see how he does over these next few days. Billy, we're pleased where he is, we know, but it's like I said, it's just that last little bit. There's a bit of tendon involved in the injury, which we're just making sure that's okay. So no, he won't be available for Friday's game.
I think there's some suggestion that he could be back for the Cardiff game. Is that a realistic timescale?
It probably is realistic, yeah, it probably is. But again, he's back when his body tells him he's back. We can plan the best possible way and have all these progressions, but he's back when his body tells him he's back. So yeah, that's we'll just wait and see how he reacts to each of his days with us.
And with Chris Basham back in training, does that give you now a headache of a decision, really, with the way that Filip Juranovic has played in the last couple of games and the clean sheets?
Yeah, well, I hope to get to that point very soon. Like I said, Bash's been out a while, and we'll see how he reacts to today. Because, like I said, I had him involved very little in the unopposed stuff on Tuesday. Sorry, what day are we on today?
Wednesday.
Yeah, on Monday. So today he's done a lot more, which is good, but it's still nowhere near a game. Yeah, but like I said, bit by bit now, day by day, he'll be getting back to where we want him to be, and I can't wait for that.
But it will be a tough decision, won't it, when he does come back, because Filip's come in, helped to keep a couple of clean sheets on him. How vital a signing has he proved, really, over the last couple of weeks?
It's been important. Not only how he's played, I think you'll get a feel, just watch from the side, for his personality on the pitch, and it's probably no surprise then how you see him play and how you see him on the pitch that he captains his club. So yeah, that was a big part of it. The stage we're at the season, the level he's played at, shows he can cope. Obviously the intensities of the English game and the Championship's totally new to him, but yeah, he's exactly what I hoped he'd be. And like I said, he's fitted in really, really well. So pleased to have him with us, and I think you can see how well he's stood up to the challenge defensively. You know, even having not played for a month, and hopefully he'll just keep getting better. Is
there any potential that he could stay longer than the end of this season?
We haven't discussed it. When we first spoke, myself and Filip, when there was a possibility, and we spoke over the phone, it was just, let's see how this month goes. Obviously he's got a contract with another club, so it's nothing really to do with us. We've just capitalised on Filip being able to suspend that contract.
On that kind of theme, have you had any discussions yet with the owners and the chief exec about transfer plans and budgets for this summer? Yeah,
I've had conversation with Steve yet. Still waiting for it to be all firmed down, but my point is, and I think you understand, we have to be, the work started ages ago, you know, we have to be working, so we're working towards one set of things, and if we get told any different, we'll obviously make changes, but we have to be putting the work in, we have to be contacting people, we have to be seeing what's out there, and so it just allows us to make the best possible decision with the players we've got. And it's really important, you know. You can't just wait till the end of the season and start doing it once the window opens.
In terms of like the type of players you'll want, I know there clearly could be the Championship, could be the Premier League, but have you had kind of assurances that you will be able to mould the squad and do with the squad what you want to do this summer?
No, there's no assurances. I think the process is like we identify the players, which is important, and then you've got to be able to afford them and try and get them in, and that's always, you know, the stumbling block. I'm confident that if the players we're identifying that we want, I'm confident we'll certainly get their appetite to come and have them with a real desire to come, confident of that, and then it's, like I said, getting it over the line.
And is that going to be younger players or more experienced players from this country or abroad? Clearly, with Filip coming in, we've seen that, you know, that's a different market to look in.
It is, but with the EU and the change it brings, it's a lot harder for players to qualify to come and play over here. And those that do are top end, and majority will be out of our price range. So it has changed the market without a doubt. So then players in Great Britain become more important, and again, that narrows your field. You have to, and so we may be getting younger or players from lower leagues to jump up. We want to know the best free transfers in around our league. So they're the market that we're looking in. Like I say, because generally the ones who qualify for the work permits, there's very few who would be in our price range who, whether on wages or whatever, who would pass and accumulate enough points to come and play.
But there is scope in the summer, even if you don't go up, for kind of paid for signings. Is that the case?
Within the money we've got, you know. And like I say, we'll get clear on that as and when. But irrelevant of that, we have to be looking at the minute. If we're looking and we're in this league, we have to be looking at this group of players. If we've got in the Premier League and someone made some money available, it does change it, of course it does. But pointless worrying about that until it happened. If it happened, everyone would be happy. So you deal with that then. And
are those conversations through Stephen, or do you get to speak to the owners on a regular basis?
I speak with Yusuf every week. Which is important, whether we've got things to talk about or not. And I think that's really important from my perspective and from his. And it just opens up that line of communication. I'm the person on the ground then in the football club, any little, rather than it just being over reading what you guys put or social media or business end of the club. We chat about all sorts of things then, and the conversation that we're on about, we chat and talk about. But there's more people involved in the finances, I speak with Yusuf about the plans and how I see things and what I would say needed to happen, but there's other people involved in that process then who have got either the purse strings or on the board and things like that, which obviously come into different conversations.
Clearly one of the conversations and topics within that will be around contracts. I know it's something that's come up a few times now. Has there been any progress made on the players, the key players that are out of contract this summer?
Not the out of contract ones. People with options, we spoke to a few, and like I say, we're ongoing with that. That's all I'll say. So these conversations are ongoing. There's lots of things that won't be resolved till the summer. Finances, what league we're in, availability of players, and until you've got the information, you'd be foolish. And one thing I've said to the players, and that they won't get me saying one thing to them and then another thing happens. I'm really careful of that, and I think they trust me on that. So that's really important to me.
Is there a concern though around some key players like Sharp, like Basham, that people are really keen to see stay here, that their futures are being left too long, really, that their futures should be sorted out by now with what they've given to the club? Yeah,
and I'm one of those people, and they're two of the people with options in the contract, so it does take the pressure away if you get what I mean. But I'm not going into conversations I have with those lads and that the club have, because one, it's private, and two, like I say, nothing's 100% resolved. So when it is, you'll be the first to hear, definitely.
Is there a danger of those players though potentially looking elsewhere? Considering their options when clearly a lot of people, even yourself, I imagine, would want to keep them here.
Yeah, no, because like I said, the club's got an option on those players. So, but what
is it a case of like renegotiating with them in like the level of money coming down from the Premier League?
No, not if you take the option, but there is scope to do that, of course. But I'm of the same opinion that you said. Like things want to be done right, and like I said, that has to be behind closed doors. But also, we want to create something here. I said it in November that this season weren't over. So this is just a start of something. Regardless of what we do this season, I want it to be really positive, of course. But then there's also next season, the season after, and every decision you make now becomes important. So you could take every player in isolation in this moment, which is fine, that's great. But you've also got to look at then the next window, the window after that. What's the squad look like in June? What's it look like January, the following June? And that's the only way to build something. So these decisions, like I said, have to be made with the health of the club and the squad. From my point of view, they'll only be me probably protecting the squad as such. And I think that's really important that I do. I always fight for these decisions are the best for the health of the squad and the club, you know, rather than just this makes financial sense right now, but it might not if you don't do this further down the line. So these are the conversations that happen all the time.
Do you see Sharp and Basham as two key parts of this club for the next season, couple of seasons?
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
In terms of the Bournemouth game, did you manage to speak to the officials, the referee? What kind of feedback have you had about that? Because clearly there's a lot of anger and frustration about the decisions that aren't going your way.
Yeah, I spoke to him straight after the game. I don't know if it didn't do me any good. Do you know what I mean? I must admit I probably felt worse after. I've done it before, and I don't think I get anything out of it. I'm just probably speaking up more for the players and the fans. That's why I spoke. But yeah, I never do the referees' reports. Maka does them, obviously consulting the feedback. But yeah, we need more than that, because generally then that's just a form and it's words on paper. So yeah, I'll be ringing Alan today and trying to get a little bit more, because it's been unfair, but people can say that. But my point is we're having too many on the spin now, whether that's Stoke, Blackpool, Bournemouth, too many on the spin. And I know how hard people are working in this building and what I've been asking of the players and how I've been pushing them. And then how the fans are reacting to that and getting behind the players and seeing them giving everything, and then we've been let down by other people. And you can say, and I say it all the time, it's out of our control, but it's got to the point where I think it's been out of order, really, like that one the weekend. It's really poor. So yeah, will it help? I don't know, but I think it's the right thing to do to highlight this problem that we're having, because at the end of the day we want the same thing. We want the best possible decisions, and yeah, we've not been getting them. And while we'll not get those points back that we could have got, we want to make sure that we can raise the standard of everyone involved in the game and get everyone happy, or improve everyone's levels all the time, and it don't happen again.
And in terms of accountability and communication and maybe ambiguity, would it help if there was greater access to officials, to us and to the fans after the games?
Yeah.
You know, mic them up within games or just have that access afterwards. It just seems to me that with a bit of explanation about their decision-making process and all that, it would help everyone.
Yeah, I do, but listen, for example, the ones we had, so like for me the last few, so Stoke, Bournemouth, and then the 2 offside goals, for me they're black and white decisions. There's not an interpretation of law there, fouls, offsides. So in those instances I'd say yeah. But one of the good things about football and how it is, we could all see the same instance and all have a different point of view. And it's that I'm talking about. So I speak with the refs and officials now, and they'll say, no, that's a foul. No, it's not, because you've not given that in the box. You know what I mean? So certainly behind the scenes and within the profession, I think there needs that better contact again. LMA, managers, and the referees. And I've been one for it all the time. I don't know how it gets you, but there's certain bits I don't like how the game's going. For example, with judging now, any contact, no, it's a foul. There's contact there, Paul. So there's no contact allowed in football anymore. But then you'll see, it's crazy. And we're even getting to the point where we're seeing ex-players or commentators on a match day saying, yeah, but there's contact. And I don't want it to go that way. This is my personal opinion. So I think there needs to be a real clarity on where do we want the game to go, how do we see it going, not just here, all over the world. Are we really happy with the direction it's going in? I've gone off subject there, and I've been speaking about us and then ranting about something that I don't like. So yeah, lots of things regarding that, where the game is. But from our point of view, yeah, we just want correct decisions, or probably further, I want a few bad ones going our way now, because we do some, so I'd take that.
So would you welcome VAR in the Championship?
Yeah.
Or would that,
Yeah. I think there's alterations to be had to VAR, like I said, just focusing on the black and white things. But yeah, we'd certainly be points better off if you look at that, whether we score the penalties or not. The 2 goals at Blackpool, for example, so we'd certainly be better off.
You've clearly got a home game and an away game over the Easter weekend. There's such a contrast right now in terms of your form home and away. Why is that?
I don't know, because it's the away stuff sort of crept up on us. We've had some good performances as well that haven't gone our way, and like I said, if the ref lines have done their job at Blackpool, you're probably not asking me that question. It's a real strong away performance and a 2-0 win. So there has been factors, but certainly, it's crept up on us because nothing's really changed in how we've approached it. Over the time away, over the time at home. So no, it's something we're looking at without a doubt, but it's not something that I don't think we have to change our approach. We've got to try and win every game, whether it's the home team, different approach with us, but we just want to try and win. So the approach won't be different, in the 5 games got left, we're going to try and win them all.
And clearly this weekend there appears to be a great opportunity to kind of capitalise with some of your playoff rivals playing each other at the weekend, so somebody will lose points. Are you aware of that and just keen to make the most of it?
Yeah, but Reading are desperate for points as well, and you see their form being picked up, so we know they're dangerous. And I look at the whole result at Borough at the weekend. It's dangerous when people give you points. You've got to earn everything, every single thing. We had the same here when we played Hull, for example, and we did everything bar score. I think the record amount of shots, expected goals, all this stuff, possession, and we couldn't score. Yet the performance was as good as we could deliver, really. So we know how tough it's going to be, no one give us points. Everyone's got to turn up knowing we've got to scrap for it, because Reading certainly will be. They want the points to assure their safety in this league. So yeah, it's of course it's an opportunity, but every game is. But it's just as tough as the last.
And your thoughts on Reading? I mean, they seem to have, their form has improved certainly since Paul Ince took over. A little bit more of a different proposition now maybe than they were a couple of months ago.
Yeah, and they've got, certainly when you look at the last 5 or 6 games, when the results have been steady and they've been picking up points, been very consistent in how they've played, personnel. Yeah, so again, whilst we've seen the strengths in them and what they've improved, and we know it's going to be tough, it also allows us to have a better idea of what we're going to face and what type of team they're going to be. So yeah, we're preparing for that Reading that's been on a good run, for that Reading that's been picking up points home and away. I'm preparing for that, yeah, because if we don't, like I said, it's the biggest mistake you can make in this league.
And of course you could help your hometown club as well this weekend with Barnsley having that game in hand, and if Reading get away.
Yeah, I think they've given themselves a lot to do. Barnsley with obviously the Reading scoring later on against them, being in front, and then the defeat at Millwall. It's a big ask. It's a big ask, but yeah, we'll do our part for ourselves. But that just shows how tough it is, because like I said, Reading can almost guarantee it. They've got themselves in a position where they may be feeling safe, but you never know, and they need those extra few points to just get themselves over the line.
And just finally from me, yourself and Paul Ince have both come in in the middle of a season, in differing parts of the season. Just how difficult is that to kind of hit the ground running, get your messages over to people when you've not necessarily had the planning and preparation that you normally would?
Yeah, it's different. It's totally different coming in the season. It's different, yeah, and it's tough. Depending when you come, if it's just after a window, which I've experienced twice as well before. Has its own challenges then. I think, if I'm honest, it was easier for me this time, knowing the club inside out, knowing the people, knowing the players. Yeah, having already worked with them as well. So the work probably weren't too many surprises for a lot of the players or me. So I think that certainly helped. Yeah, that probably helped me. Paul's situation probably a lot different than mine. So yeah, but it certainly throws up challenges without, if you're coming in with a lot of time to plan, prepare in the summer, and then have a pre-season with players, yeah, it makes a big difference.